Excellent, lovely job. Well, thank you very much, Antonios and the team at CPW for sharing with us the information that you're going to share with us on the case study and award at the annual dinner case study. So I'll leave it to you guys.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. And it's a big pleasure to have you all tonight here with us at 103. So thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to attend your annual general meeting and present a very special project for us that we're very pleased. We got award Project of the Year at the last CIBSE West Midlands Awards night. So today with us, obviously it's myself, Antonios Sakapakis. I'm a director of CPW. I've been with CPW now for the last 15 years. I'm working on all the sectors from MEP to sustainability. And as a business, over the years, we have developed all the different sectors, but all the different specialists within the business to support our clients. With me today is Dean and Dan. Obviously, Dean and Dan are the major players for the project, so I'm trying not to steal the glory tonight. But they work tirelessly with the design team to deliver this project for us. So today, what we're trying to cover is few things about CPW. Sorry for the sale point here, but that will be just the front bit. But give you a project outline and the design team that delivered the project for us. A bit about the importance of CPW's roles delivering this scheme, but more importantly, the challenges and the innovations that we have to incorporate into the either design or delivery to deliver the project on time, but also we're going to discuss about the opportunities, current and future, that the building will have and the impact that will have for the future generations to come. A few things about us. Our main office is in Solihull. We formed back in 1978, so we're almost 45 years old now. We are 370 plus staff as we speak, and we have 13 offices across UK. Strategically, and as you can see on the map, we follow our clients. We're trying to cover all the England and obviously all of our loyal clients that we're working over the years. We're based in Birmingham. This scheme has been delivered by our Birmingham team with some support, obviously, I have to say, with the international offices in India and in Poland, that they play a really strong strategic role on our offer to our client. Now, predominantly, we're M&E. We don't want to dilute our services. Over the years, we had a strategic decision to stay as MEP. This is where we're good at, and this is what we want to offer to our clients. However, over the years, we have developed some really specialist services within the business to offer to the client a better service. I mean, we're BIM accredited. We have our own BIM team. We're using BIM on all the services. Revit is the future, not just for us, for all the developments to follow. So everybody's been trained. All of our staff using Revit. It's something that we have embedded into our core as a delivery to an offer. Sustainability and net zero carbon. I mean, everybody talking about sustainability, but our sustainability team is working tirelessly with different end users and local councils and local clients to provide to de-risk sites, but also provide grid decarbonization solutions and sustainable solutions for the future generations. Very important, the dedicated site engineers. We recognize as a business the importance of good quality of installation. We're having a team dedicated just to do site observations. Very, very strong background on MEP, dirty hands, and they know exactly what they're looking on site. But equally, our new generation, the younger engineers, are going on site with them. They've been escorted by the site engineers just to learn what they're actually drawing and how they're going to be installing site going forward. Lighting and daylighting, I think the importance of daylighting and lighting nowadays is really strong. No more just an energy, but obviously planning, new schemes, high rise. And the taller that we go in this country, obviously the vertical transportation is another service that we embedded into our business just to improve people's life, but obviously transportation within the buildings. Acoustics equally is very important with the new buildings. It's something that the last 5 years we invested as a business. We have now acoustic consultants across the UK, and we provide that service not just to our clients, but we educate our engineers, especially the mechanical, during the design stages of a project. Now, the power and infrastructure team, again, it's something that we have developed over the years, and the very big importance is with the new building regulations and the grid decarbonization is they can actually de-risk, unlock sites, we're NEST registered, and we can actually see at any time live what the availability is on the network. So that's really, really important for our clients. Needless to say, and keeping away from all the politics, is the research and development and innovation team, and also include the passive house, where tirelessly they're looking, testing new solutions, new technologies, and they're working to support all the design teams. So this is not the specialist services that we offer in within the business, and it's working really well. Now that's the sale pitch about the business. But if we go back to our project, NBI, or National Brownfield Institute, is a approximately 18 million project. The fundamental here is the time scales was only 12 months, and that happened during the pandemic. It was a funding way to deliver this. We had to deliver it with certain times during the pandemic. For a 2,000 square meters building is a great opportunity for a client, for the future generations, to provide not just the new technology, which is the 3D visualization, scanning facilities, but also provide the labs, provide all the specialists and flexible spaces for the future generations to test different materials. I think the fundamental that we said earlier about the timescales is the design team. I mean, we moved the team during the pandemic from the adjacent building, which is a School of Architecture. It's a great building. The same team, to save time, brought the team together. We work tirelessly and collaboratively to ensure that we go out to tender, open book, and meet the strict time scales that we had from the fine stream to deliver this project on time and successfully. So that's a fundamental item and strength that the design team had for this project. But I'll pass you over to the guys now for the details.
Yeah, so initially to look specifically at what CPW's role was on this project, primarily we were looking to deliver something that was inherently flexible. It was digitally enabled, and the intention is that it can support brownfield research now and going forward as it grows. We wanted to deliver that inherent flexibility, but also we had big aspirations to follow low energy design principles whilst doing so. So initially, on behalf of the university, we developed this scheme from a feasibility study right through to design intent and performance criteria that allowed them to get into contract with ISG and the team that delivered the project. Within that feasibility session, there was numerous options that we were looked at. So there was a lot of existing buildings that had the potential to house some of the equipment. There was using some of the existing stock that sat on the Springfield campus adjacent to the School of Architecture. In the end, a lot of that was discounted. That was due to its inability to house labs, essentially, is challenges in and around ventilation and some potential quite significant impacts onto the level of adaptability and flexibility that could be given within an existing building. Following this, we were appointed by Envirotech, who were the M&E provider for the scheme, which gave us the opportunity to follow those principles and follow that design intent that we put through to a technical design that enveloped all of those principles. Really, it incorporated low energy technologies in heat pumps and a PV array, and it also set means of modularizing a lot of the areas within the labs to allow that growth and expansion for anything to grow in the future. We managed to follow that through from an energy perspective, and it managed to achieve an EPCA in an efficient building, as well as and a big part of that was working with the architect and the builder to make sure that the building fabric was used first and foremost in order to achieve the energy targets that we were looking to. But this didn't come without some challenges that Dan's gonna run through for us.
So I'll briefly talk through some of the challenges that were faced on this project. One thing that's clear, sort of at concept stage from the outset, was the key stakeholder engagement, and their vision was very clear in terms of what they needed to do for the development and research around brownfield and how their research can be developed over the future. And with that, from an MEP perspective, it was trying to understand, okay, within that space, how do we determine what some of the MEP equipment you need, i.e. specialist gases, fume cupboards, any local exhaust ventilations, and allowing that flexibility within the lab spaces. So what's on the screen here is one of the specific areas of the labs. We've got generic labs as well. So we've got one area here which shows quite a clean space, but you can see from the screen we've got flexible and movable desks, and we've got perimeter power and data allowance, typically every meter, and electric power overhead as well, so to allow that flexibility for the end users, because again at the time we're trying to determine what services they needed, but it was trying to do that to provide a whole baseline for the whole project, and there was no exact equipment data sheets that we could work from to develop that. So it was an ongoing process throughout the project, so we can agree milestones where we get to and get sort of a sign-off agreement through that. And at the back of the room, we've got 2 recirculation type fume cupboards. So these have got HEPA filters in. So there was discussion on potential asbestos sampling, and then that was quite important there. So we've got a protected lobby there, and we try and control that in a controls sort of zone, keeping that away from the general ventilation system. And then we haven't got pictures, but within the generic labs, we've got full exhaust fume cupboards with specialist gas connections. So they're piped in, dedicated with stainless steel lines, so that allows that flexibility to come in and plug in their gases as and when they need to. And then we've got a mix of LEV points as well available. With that, at the top as well, we've got AV and CCTV 360 angles, so allow that integration sort of desktop study as well, so it will help in that respect. Also so this is predominantly on the ground floor. On the first floor, we've got smart lighting as well, wireless controls, so that can link with booking systems in the meeting rooms. And then we've got VAV control with the sensors within the spaces to allow that flexibility and sort of digital enabling for smart systems. So if we go into the sort of next challenge, so as we spoke before, again, critical point for us is trying to understand the brief from the client, but then as Antonius mentioned, it's within that time frame, because there's just the pure fact for the speed of the program for both design and construction. And that was all down to the relevant funding and spending requirements for the project. But what's on the screen here is a successful project, which is the SOAB building. So that's the School of Architectural and Built Environment. So one of the beauties here that what drove the sort of success for the project was the delivery team and the construction team and the design team worked with, so that sort of named there ISG, the main contractor, negotiated transfer from the SOAB building over to the NBI building. So that continuity of, you know, experience in developing a good product, you know, good project, as well as a communication link and the design team with their experience of developing a similar facility for the sector and the university. If we move on to one of the next challenges with all this, obviously, as we mentioned, it was during a time of the pandemic for both the design and construction stage. So with that, obviously, it had its challenges, as we all know, like a lot of projects, social distancing, limited numbers of people in the space, you know, led to some slick programming, sequencing and pre-ordering of equipment as and when they needed to avoid any potential delays. One of the things that we looked at sort of concept early stage, again, within this time frame, was the discussions around prefabrication and module container shippings. And this was allowed to that flexibility for any equipment that might be being used. So almost like shipping containers being pulled in and out of some of the lab areas, but this was sort of discounted to it just didn't seem the right approach due to the longevity of the building and, you know, using modern building methods of the construction. I think overall the client was very happy with the standard. As you can see some of the photos here, it's a very clean and very modern building that we're developing here. So let's move on to some of the project innovations that can be talked about through Dean.
Yeah, so innovation, we all love innovation. Dan's already touched on some of the kind of innovative measures that also encompass the flexibility within the labs. So again, very modular for developing kind of brief, developing equipment list, developing ways and means of the research being carried out. But one of the innovations that was definitely new for the design team was the 9-meter igloo, as it's coined, that you can see on screen at the moment. So this is essentially a system with endless capabilities for everything that they could think to do in there. The kind of anticipated usages for it on campus are for fully immersive exhibitions. So that's a 9-meter, 360-degree element that can have multiple screens, operations, and all sorts shown on there. This allows them to engage with stakeholders and even do fully immersive meetings and conferences within the space. The other thing it offers from a training perspective is it's essentially a huge advanced BIM cave. So this can be programmed with specialist software to be used with, you know, Xbox control pads, allowing somebody to fully explore a brownfield site potentially, or really get some hands-on experience of what it's like to be out there in the field looking at things, but very safely, because it's done essentially within an office type environment. Additionally to the 3D suite that we can see on there, there's also provision within the infrastructure for the building for 2 further fully immersive rooms that sit adjacent to this, which would essentially be cubes that will replace existing meeting rooms, again with some potential future ideas as to what could be done in there, how that could help people train or even meet internationally, so it can feel like you're within the same place, but obviously just to be digitally connected. The next innovation I think is interesting. It maybe less so to be accommodated within the base build, but it definitely got a lot of media attention, and considered almost revolutionary for what the guys are trying to do with brownfield research. He's known as Spot the Robotic Dog. So what he allows people to do, well, without people being present, is to go and explore confined spaces, potentially contaminated land, collect samples and all those sorts of things without any requirement for a human to be put in there and to help from a health and safety perspective. So he got a lot of attention, and is pretty exciting to be associated with the NBI building. The next slide we look at is opportunities and impacts. So, you know, this is maybe what we'd consider took it a long way to what made it a winning entry for the West Midlands currently. So to focus on the students in the university, essentially this project's giving students specialised courses in brownfield remediation, which will give them some unique qualifications that are on offer that are going to open up job opportunities post-university. It's also going to give them access to industry leaders, you know, things like we've just looked at, immersive meeting spaces, etc. Give students the opportunity to be with these people without physically being there on campus, and this will aid a natural flow from brownfield research remediation across the road to the School of Architecture and Built Environment, in order to kind of develop that learning, develop that study. Specifically, the university is going to benefit from the international exposure that this facility is going to bring, which will, you know, hopefully lead to leading researchers wanting to come and make use of the facility and be within the environment. If we move on to the city of Wolverhampton and the West Midlands in general, it's going to put us on the map as a leader in sustainable construction, circular economy. Brownfield development is going to provide skills, jobs and opportunity for the region. The Institute really does put us at the forefront of building construction development, and it's going to set the pace for sustainability and innovation for sure. For the UK, it's a world-class facility. It's gonna move us on when it comes to land remediation, regeneration in the UK and beyond potentially, which is going to help us tackle the housing shortage. It's going to increase the accessibility of industrial land, in particular where there's high levels of brownfield sites that historically have been too expensive to remediate, or it's been put as too difficult to do, which is only going to help us when it comes to housing and climate change going forward and protecting greenbelt land that is at the forefront of all of our minds currently.
Great. Thank you both. I mean, I would like to finish this short presentation just to say, for all of us and the design team, including the client, and I think this is reflected on David's statement there. This is a great opportunity for the current developers, organization, or individual businesses to work in collaboration or individual basis on a building that will offer them these right facilities to develop the future ways of construction in conjunction with the School of Architecture, which is next door. It's adjacent building for the research required. With the current and future, obviously, demand on sustainable sites and modern method of construction, while preserving our green belt sites, and use all the existing brownfield decontaminated to get more out of it and make them green and clean for the future generation, the future buildings. This project actually generates, not through the innovation of design, but for the research that is happening internally, gives that ethos and the concept to provide the space for the future generation of homes and the place for work safely without putting the human under any risk, to make it safe for all of us and safe for all the generations in the future. And obviously this is clearly reflects on the feedback we had from the end users, but obviously David's statement with us here. So thank you very much for listening. We try not to be too technical on this, but I think I would like to thank you all for, you know, giving us the opportunity to present this to you today, but also presenting and giving us this great award as a project of the year. So thank you all.
Thank you, Antonios. Any questions or comments for the guys, for the team? Maybe something to touch base on.
That spot, the robotic dog, was amazing. She grounded.
Yeah, to be fair, it wasn't part of the brief, and we were surprised. We were surprised at the opening that we saw him with a iPad. Someone was driving it down the stairs and going up and down the stairs and trying to catch with our mayor.
Incredibly agile.
Was it noisy?
No, to be fair, she was, well, it wasn't as noisy as I was expecting, but for the research that he's doing is really, really clever. I mean, they did a demonstration to enter a confined space full of asbestos and try and get sample. And I think that it's amazing what the robot can do. I was amazed.
Yeah, it's also been used for scanning and photography as well. So
Yes, yes,
I think Hexagon do devices that actually connect to it directly. So
correct, correct. I mean, one of the input, absolutely right, Martin. I mean, one of the items that the robot can do is undertake all the 3D scanning on the contaminated sites. More importantly, to start advancing the design before they clear the site for the next building to be constructed. It's a very unique and clever dog, I have to admit.
So your new addition has got a lot to live up to.
absolutely.
Well, thank you guys very much. Thank you to CPW for being excellent hosts. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what your entry for Project of the Year is for this year's awards.
We're already prepared, Josh.
Yeah, good man. Right. Well, thank you very much. And
Thank you very much for giving us opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.